Excellent, Teal. Thank you for taking the time to be with us today, and welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
That's awesome. Now, Teal, you're a multi-award winning actress, an advocate for inclusion of performers with disabilities in the entertainment industry. So, when did you catch the acting bug?
I caught the acting bug in college. I went to Oglethorpe University in Atlanta, Georgia, and I majored in communications. And as part of my major, I had to take a theater class. And I just fell in love with it. I think there are two things that were really like pivotal. One was the professors, the theater professors, were super encouraging of me. They could, like they didn't treat me any differently because I had a disability. If anything, I felt like they thought it was like a good thing, like an asset to my work.
Okay.
And they cast me in plays, playing roles that weren't disability specific. And so they just made me feel like included. And the second thing was that the theater department and then the big theater at Oglethorpe University, which is also home to the Georgia Shakespeare Festival, was totally wheelchair accessible.
Awesome.
So I really lucked out in the fact that I had a theater that was wheelchair accessible and that I had professors who included me. And yeah, it just like, it just clicked, and I haven't looked back. That's what I've been doing ever since.
It's an interesting parallel. As you're taking communications, and then they say no, you have to take a theater program as it's a form of communication.
Yeah, well, it's just a class. I think I could choose between that or something else. Like they gave you choices, and I thought theater. That
Why
sounded like
not?
fun. Yeah, that sounded like fun. It's something I'd kind of been interested in before, but where I grew up, that it wasn't really an option. So it was like I was definitely like excited to take a theater class.
Cool. Now, what type of preparation do you do before an audition?
Yeah, it is. I mean, I recently had an audition a couple days ago. So it's like you learn the material. That's the big thing. If you can, you want to try to like have the lines memorized if you can, but first and foremost, it's about connecting with the character and making a choice. Like if the show is already, let's say, airing on TV, it's a good idea if you haven't already seen the show to maybe go watch an episode of it so you
Okay.
get an idea of the tone of the show. The big thing now is auditions are primarily self tapes now. So you're not going in person, you're recording them at home. So there's also the aspect of you're like your own producer now of your audition, which
Just
is
not credited as such.
a lot because you got to get your camera set up. You want the lighting to be good. You have to have someone to read with, who reads the other characters part with you. You've got to upload and edit the pieces together and then submit it. So it honestly, I feel like becomes a whole day production to get it. So there's lots of aspects right now, just besides just learning your part.
So,
Yeah.
do you feel with the way the world is and with the pandemic and stuff that we'll get away from eco casting and back into the audition room, or just kind of maybe?
I think you're going to see a mix. I mean, the good thing about self tapes is, the show I was auditioning for is casting out of Los Angeles, but they're open to any actor in the country for the part. So what's great is it allows me to audition for it because I'm in Seattle, so I'm not going to go be able to just go into a Los Angeles office. So, but I also know but I do think there will be in person as well, but I think there'll be a mix.
So,
Mix.
my question for you here with this is that sometimes we get an audition sent to us and we get a breakdown.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel a version of microaggression passing through of being like a box that's being checked versus I'm the right person and my talent's going to show?
Yes. I had another audition recently that, oh my gosh, it's for like a primetime network show. I won't name which one, but the character has a disability, which is why I got the audition.
Okay.
Which is great because okay, first I will say they're committed to casting an actor with a disability for the role, which yes.
Awesome.
but the part was so just, stereotypical. The character, it awful because she's now in a wheelchair and life is awful, and it's that role which I read it and I'm cringing, and it's so hard as an actor because it's like, yes, I want to work. I want to be on this primetime, network show. The scene is with a great actor. But then it's also like, I don't, I advocate for accurate portrayal of disability. And by doing this role, I'm basically like pushing us back, like showing another. So it's really difficult as an actor to make that decision of, hey, am I going to audition? And so this is what I did. I auditioned, but I ended up like changing a line that I hated because I thought that this line was so bad. So I changed it, and then I played the character in a way where she didn't feel sorry for herself. She was more just like laying out the facts, and this shouldn't have happened, and this is why. And I didn't get the part, and that's fine. And I did watch the episode, and it's great. They did cast an actor with a disability, but it was that portrayal. It was like I feel bad for myself. This is awful, and I'm tired. I'm tired of that narrative being put out there. So
it's certainly interesting when you look at it from that perspective. And I mean, you do so many things and trying to make that character come to life and make it you, right? And try to have that positive spin. It kind of feels like the industry is, pitching one way and not looking at other avenues sometimes.
yes.
So what is something that people tend to misunderstand about you the most?
So I would say, for example, sometimes when I'm out in public, people look at me and they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. I hope you get better soon. I was in the checkout of a grocery store not too long ago, and the guy said to me, don't worry, when you die, God will heal you and you'll be able to walk again. So I get these, I'll just say, people assume that because I'm a wheelchair user that my life is awful and that it would be so much better if I wasn't in a wheelchair. And that is just not true at all. So that would be the biggest misconception is, I mean, having a disability isn't all roses and sunshine, obviously, but, I have a great life. I have a good life, and I am proud to be a part of the disability community. And so I would just wish people would not think that, my life is so bad.
So it kind of brings me to my next point is you're an active dancer. I mean, outside of acting, you're part of a dance company called Full Radius Dance.
Yeah, so I started dancing with Full Radius Dance actually when I moved to Atlanta to go to college at Oglethorpe University, and I heard about them. They're a physically integrated dance company.
Okay.
So they combine both dancers with and without disability, and they create beautiful pieces of dance and perform all over Atlanta, and they travel and they do advocacy work, educational work in schools. Fabulous. That working with them was life-changing for me. I was injured when I was 14 years old in a car accident, and before my injury, I was a dancer, I was a cheerleader, and after my injury, I was like, okay, is that still possible? Because it's not like I see people represented in the media doing that kind of stuff. And I didn't really know any other disabled people. After my injury, I wasn't exposed to a lot of other people with disabilities. So becoming a part of Full Radius Dance was just, it changed everything for me.
That's awesome.
Just, yeah.
We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.